Save PDF files. How to save PDF files. Save PDF files in Photoshop. About Photoshop PDF format. About Photoshop PDF format. By the way, you can use the save as command to save RGB indexed color, and CMYK, and grayscale, and Bitmap-mode, and lab color, and duotones, and duotone images in Photoshop PDF format. And because the Photoshop PDF document can preserve Photoshop data such as layers and alpha channels and nodes and spot color, and you can also open the document and edit the images in Photoshop CS2 or later. And by the way, you can quickly save a file as Photoshop PDF by applying the Save as Photoshop PDF action on the file. And you can access this action, by the way, by choosing Production from the Actions panel menu. And for advanced users, the Photoshop PDF format, by the way, offers options for making the document PDF/X compliant, which is essential. For example, when you send your document to a large commercial press, PDF/X portable document format exchange, and is a subset of Adobe PDF that eliminates color and font and typing variables that lead to printing problems. And also you can specify security options for restricting access to the PDF document, and the 128-byte RC4, Acrobat 6 and later, and encryption has an option for letting users view metadata and thumbnails in a secure PDF document using Adobe Bridge. And also you can save your PDF setting as a PDF preset for creating consistent Photoshop PDF files, by the way. And Adobe PDF presets and settings are shared across Adobe components, including Photoshop and InDesign and Illustrator and Acrobat. And by the way, how to save in Photoshop PDF format. How to save Photoshop PDF format? We have steps. Step number 1. You should choose file firstly, then you choose select save as, and then you choose Photoshop PDF from the format menu. And by the way, you can also select a color option if you want to embed a color profile or use the profiles specified with the prof setup command. And you can also include layers and nodes and spot color or alpha channels, and then click save. Step number 2. In the Save Adobe PDF dialog box, you have to choose an Adobe PDF preset specifying whether the Photoshop PDF file will be printed on a desktop printer or printer, and set to a commercial printer, distributed by email, displayed on the web, and so on. For details, see Adobe PDF presets. And after that, choosing a preset in the easiest way to set options for your Photoshop PDF file. And after you choose a preset, you should click Save PDF to generate your Photoshop PDF file. And if you want to add security options or fine-tune the saving options for the PDF, you should follow the remaining steps in this procedure. Step number 3. Optional. You should choose options from the standard menu and the compatibility menu that to specify the PDF/X compliance and the Acrobat version compatibility for the PDF document. And for more information, see PDF compatibility levels. Step number 4. Optional again. You should select General in the left pane of the Save Adobe PDF dialog box to set general PDF file saving options. For details for each option, see General Options for Adobe PDF. Note here in this point, in point number 4. Note here and be careful. Users of Photoshop 7.0 and earlier can open a Photoshop PDF, by the way, as a generic PDF with flattened layers. And you should choose File, then choose Open, and and then choose generic PDF from the files of type menu if you use Windows, or choose the same process, File, then Open, and choose generic PDF from the format menu if you use macOS. Step number 5. Optional again. Select compression in the left pane of the Save Adobe PDF dialog box to specify the compression and downsampling options for the PDF file. For more information, see compression and downsampling options for Adobe PDF. Step number 6. Optional again. should select output in the left pane of the Save Adobe PDF dialog box to specify color management and PDF/X options. For more information, see color management and PDF/X options for Adobe PDF. Step number 7. Optional again. To add security to your PDF document, you should select security in the left pane of the Save Adobe PDF dialog box and then specify the password and permissions options for your PDF document. See also add security to PDF files in this point. Note and be careful please here now. The encryption level depends on the compatibility setting of your PDF document. You should choose a different compatibility setting to specify a higher or lower encryption level. Step number 8. Optional again. You should select summary in the left pane of the Save Adobe PDF dialog box. Then you can review the options you specified. Step number 9. If you want to use the PDF save setting, you should click Save Preset and save your setting as PDF preset. And the new preset appears in the Adobe PDF preset menu the next time, and you save a Photoshop PDF file and in any product in the Adobe Creative Cloud. See also Save and Adobe Photoshop PDF preset. Step number 10. You should click Save, then PDF. You should click Save PDF, and Photoshop closes the Save Adobe PDF dialog box and creates the PDF document file. So what about Adobe PDF presets? Adobe PDF presets. By the way, a PDF preset is a group of settings that affect the process of creating a PDF. These settings, by the way, are designed to balance file size with quality, depending on how the PDF will be used. And most predefined presets are shared, by the way, across Adobe components, including InDesign and Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop and Acrobat. And you can also create and share custom presets to your unique output requirements. And a few of the presets listed below are not available, by the way, until you move them as needed and from the extras folder where they are installed by default and to the setting folder. Typically the extras and setting folders are found in Windows Vista and Windows 7 and Program Data and Adobe PDF and Windows XP Documents and Setting and all users and application data and macOS and the library, like all these paths. And by the way, the custom settings are found in Windows XP Documents and Setting and username and the same length. And how to review? By the way, review your PDF setting periodically. The setting don't automatically revert to the default setting. Applications and utilities that creates PDF use the last set of PDF setting defined or selected. We have options here. The first option, high quality print. High quality print is meaning that creates PDF for quality printing on desktop printers and proofing devices. This preset, by the way, uses PDF 1.4, down samples, color and grayscale images to 300 ppi, and monochrome images to 1200 ppi, and embeds subsets of all fonts, by the way, and leaves color unchanged and doesn't flatten transparency. And for file types capable of transparency, this PDF, by the way, can be opened in Acrobat 5.0 and Acrobat Reader 5.0 and later. And in InDesign, this preset also creates tagged PDF, by the way. So what about Illustrator default? Illustrator only creates a PDF, by the way, in which all Illustrator data is preserved, and the PDF created with this preset can be reopened in Illustrator without any loss of data, by the way. And what about oversized pages? Acrobat only. It's meaning that, by the way, creates PDF suitable for viewing and printing of engineering and drawings larger than 200 multiply 200 inches. This PDF, by the way, can be opened in Acrobat and Reader 7.0 and later. So what about PDF/A 1P 2005 CMYK and RGB Acrobat only? It's meaning used for long-term preservation archival of electronic documents and converts all colors, by the way, to either CMYK or RGB, depends on which standard you choose. This PDF, by the way, can be opened in Acrobat and Reader version 5.0 and later. So what about PDF/X and 2001 and 2003? PDF/X 1 requires all fonts, by the way, to be embedded, and is appropriate marks and breeds to be specified, and color to appear as CMYK, input colors or both, and compliant files must contain information describing the printing condition for which they are prepared. And the PDF files, by the way, created with PDF-X compliance can be opened in Acrobat 4.0 and Acrobat Reader 4.0 and later. So what about, and I'm so sorry, and PDF-X/X uses PDF 1.3 down samples, color and grayscale images to 300 ppi and monochrome images to 2200 ppi embeds subsets of all fonts, and creates untagged PDF and flattens transparency using the high resolution setting, by the way. Note here and be careful please here now. The PDF-X1 and PDF-X3 2003 presets, by the way, are placed on your computer during installation, but are not available until you move them from the extras folder to the setting folder. And what about PDF-X3? By the way, this preset creates a PDF based on the ISO standard PDF-X3 2002. The PDF created in this setting, by the way, can be opened in Acrobat 4.0 and Acrobat Reader 4.0 or later. And what about PDF-X4 2008? This preset, by the way, creating ISO PDF-X/X4 2008 files supports live transparency, and transparency is not flattened, by the way, and ICC color management, and PDF files exported with this preset are in PDF 1.4 format, and images are downsampled and compressed, and fonts are embedded in the same manner as with the PDF-X/X and PDF-X/3 setting. You can create, by the way, PDF-X/4 2008 compliant PDF files directly from Creative Suite 4 and 5 components, including Illustrator and InDesign and Photoshop. And Acrobat 9 Pro provides facilities to validate and preflight PDF files for PDF-X for 2008 compliance, as well as convert non-PDF-X file to PDF-X4 2008 if possible. And by the way, Adobe recommends PDF-X for 2008 as the optimal PDF file, by the way, format are available PDF print publishing workflows. And what's the meaning of press quality? Press quality is meaning that creates PDF files for high quality print production, for example, for digital printing or for separations to an image setter or place setter, but doesn't create files that are PDF-X compliant. In this case, by the way, the quality of the printer or print service provider needs in order to print the document correctly. This set, by the way, of options uses PDF 1.4, converts color to CMYK, downsamples color and grayscale images to 300 ppi and monochrome images to 2200 ppi, embedded subsets of all fonts, by the way, and preserves transparency for file types capable of transparency. By the way, these PDF files can be opened in Acrobat 5.0 and Acrobat Reader 5.0 and later. And note here and be careful again here now. Before creating an Adobe PDF file to send to a commercial printer or print service provider, you should to find out what the output resolution and other settings should be, or ask for a job option file with the recommended setting, and you might need to customize the Adobe PDF setting for a particular provider and then provide a job options file of your own. So what about rich rich content PDF. Rich content PDF is meaning that creates accessible PDF files that include text and hyperlinks and bookmarks and interactive elements and layers. And this set of options, by the way, uses PDF 1.5 and embeds subsets of all fonts. And it also optimizes files for byte serving. And this PDF files, by the way, can be opened in Acrobat 6.0 and Adobe Reader 6.0 and later. This rich content, by the way, PDF preset is in the extras folder. And note and be careful. This preset, by the way, was called ebook in earlier versions of some applications, by the way. So what about smallest size, file size? Smallest file size is meaning that creates PDF files for displaying on the web and internet or for email distribution. This set, by the way, of options uses compression and downsampling and relatively low image resolution, and it converts all colors to RGB and embeds fonts. It also optimizes files for byte serving for best results, and avoid using this preset if you intend to print the PDF file. These PDF files, by the way, can be opened in Acrobat 5.0 and Acrobat Reader 5.0 and later. And what about magazine? Magazine ADS 2006 Japan. Magazine ADS 2006 Japan. This preset, by the way, creates a PDF based on the creation rules designed by Digital Data Delivery Committee. And what about standard Acrobat only? Standard Acrobat only is meaning creates PDF files to be printed to desktop printers or digital copiers and published on a CD or sent to a client as a publishing proof. This set, by the way, of options uses compression and downsampling to keep the file size down, resolution. And note that Windows font subset, by the way, are not embedded by default, and the PDF files created with this setting file can be opened in Acrobat 5.0 and Acrobat Reader 5.0 and later. And what about PDFX and PDFA standards? What about PDFX and PDFA standards? By the way, PDFX and PDFA standards are defined by the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, and PDFX standards apply to graphic content exchange only, and PDFA standards apply to long-term archiving of electronic documents during PDF conversion. And the file that is being processed is checked, by the way, against the specified standard. And if the PDF will not meet the selected ISO standard, a message appears asking you to choose between cancelling the conversion or going ahead with the creation of a non-compliant file. And the most widely used standards for a print publishing workflow are several PDFX formats and PDFX 1 and PDFX3, and in 2007 PDFX4. The most widely, by the way, used standards for PDF archiving are PDFA 1 and PDFA 1P for less stringent requirements. And note here, please, for more information on PDFX and PDFA standards, see the ISO website. So what about PDF compatibility? What about PDF compatibility levels? By the way, when you create PDF, you need to decide which PDF version to use. And you can change the PDF version, by the way, by switching to a different preset or choosing a compatibility option when you save a PDF or edit a PDF preset. And generally speaking, unless there is a specific need for backward compatibility, and you should use the most recent version, in this case version 1.7. And the latest version, by the way, will include all the newest features and functionality. However, if you are creating documents that will be distributed widely, consider choosing Acrobat 5.0, PDF 1.4, or Acrobat 6.0 and PDF 1.5 to ensure that all users can view and print the document. And the following table compares some of the functionality in PDF created using the different compatibility setting. Note here, please, now Acrobat 8.0 and 9.0 also use PDF 1.7. And this table now explains for you everything about the Acrobat Reader, Acrobat version Acrobat 3.0, PDF 1.0, and Acrobat 5.0, PDF 1.4, and Acrobat 6.0, PDF 1.5, and Acrobat 7.0, PDF 1.6, and Acrobat X PDF 1.7. Okay, so we would like to start now with Acrobat 3.0, PDF 1.3. By the way, PDF can be opened with Acrobat 3.0 and Acrobat Reader 3.0 and later. And in Acrobat in Acrobat 5.0, PDF 1.4, PDF can be opened with Acrobat 3.0 and Acrobat Reader 3.0 and later. However, features specific to later versions may be lost or not viable, by the way. And Acrobat 6.0, PDF 1.5. By the way, most PDF can be opened with Acrobat 4.0 and Acrobat Reader 4.0 and later. However, features specific to later versions may be lost or not viable. And what about Acrobat 7.0, PDF 1.6 and Acrobat X PDF 1.7? By the way, most PDFs can be opened with Acrobat 4.0 and Acrobat Reader 4.0 and later. However, features specific to later versions may be lost or not viable, like the previous. That's great. Okay, so what about general options? What about general options? General options for Adobe PDF. By the way, you can set the following options in the general sections of the Adobe PDF options dialog box. And you have options here now, many options here. The first option description. What about description? Description is meaning that displays the description from the selected preset and provides a place for you to edit the description. And you can paste a description from the clipboard. And if you edit the description of a preset, the word modified is added at the end of the preset name. And the next option, preserve Photoshop editing capabilities. It's meaning that preserves Photoshop data in the PDF such as layers and alpha channels and spot colors and the Photoshop PDF documents. With this option, by the way, can be opened only in Photoshop CS2 and later. And the next option, embed page thumbnails. Embed page thumbnails is meaning that creates a thumbnail image of artwork. And the next option, optimize for fast web view. Optimize for fast web view is meaning that optimizes the PDF file for faster viewing in a web browser. And the next option, view PDF after saving, is meaning that opens the newly created PDF file in the default PDF viewing application. So what about compression and downsampling options for Adobe PDF? Compression and downsampling options for Adobe PDF. By the way, when saving artwork in Adobe PDF, you can compress text and line art, and compress and downsample bitmap images depending on the setting you choose. And compression and downsampling can significantly reduce the size of a PDF file with a little or no loss of detail and precision. And the compression area, by the way, of the Adobe PDF options dialog box is divided into 3 sections, by the way. Each section provides the following options for compressing and resampling images in your artwork. So what about downsampling? Downsampling is meaning that if you plan to use the PDF file on the web and use downsampling to allow for higher compression. And if you plan to print the PDF file at high resolution, don't use downsampling, by the way. And then select the don't downsample option to disable all downsampling options. And by the way, downsampling refers to decreasing the number of pixels in an image. And to downsample images, you should choose an interpolation method, and average downsampling and subsampling or bicubic downsampling, and enter the desired resolution in pixels per inch. And then enter resolution in the 4 images above box. And by the way, all images with resolution above this threshold are downsampled. The interpolation method you choose determines how pixels are deleted, by the way, and you have options again. The first option here now, average downsampling 2. Average downsampling 2 is meaning that averages the pixels in a sample area and replaces the entire area with the average pixel color at the specified resolution. And average downsampling is the same as linear resampling. And the next option, Subsampling 2. Subsampling 2 is meaning that it chooses a pixel in the center of the sample area and replaces the entire area with the pixel color. And subsampling significantly reduces the conversion time compared with downsampling, but results in images that are less smooth and continuous. And the sampling and sampling and the subsampling is the same as nearest neighbor resampling. And so what about Bitmap downsampling 2? Bitmap downsampling 2 is meaning that uses a weighted average to determine pixel color, and which usually yields better results than the simple averaging method of downsampling. And the Bitmap is the slowest but most precise method and resulting in the smoothest gradations. And so what about compression? Compression is meaning that determines the type of compression that is used. And what about zip compression? ZIP compression is meaning works well on images with large areas of single colors or repeating patterns, and for black and white images that contain repeating patterns, ZIP compression is lossless, by the way. And what about JPG compression? JPG compression is meaning that is suitable for grayscale or color images. JPG compression, by the way, is lossy, which means that it removes image data and may reduce image quality. However, it attempts to reduce file size with a minimal loss of information. Because JPG compression eliminates data, it can achieve much smaller file sizes than the ZIP compression, by the way. So what about JPG 2000? JPG 2000 is meaning that is the new international standard for the compression and packaging of image data. And like JPG compression, JPG 2000 compression is suitable for grayscale or color images. It also provides additional advantages such as progressive display and lossless compression not available with JPG, and JPG 2000 is only available if Acrobat 6 PDF 1.5 or later is selected from the compatibility menu. So what about image quality? Image quality is meaning that determines the amount of compression that is applied, and the available options depends on the compression method for JPG 2000 compression. And Photoshop provides lossless and maximum high and medium and low and minimum options for JPG compression. And Photoshop provides minimum and low and medium and high and maximum options for ZIP compression, by the way. And Photoshop provides an 8-byte image quality option, and this 8-byte image quality option is lossless, by the way, and that is data is not removed to reduce file size, so image quality is not affected, by the way. So what about tile size? Tile size is meaning that it specifies the size of the tiles used in images with JPG 2000 compression. And when low image quality values are used to optimize images smaller than 1024 multiply 1024 pixels, using the largest tile size produces better results. In general, a tile size of 1024 is best for most images, by the way, and lower tile sizes are generally used for images with small dimensions and for viewing on devices such as mobile phones. And what about convert 16-byte and channel image to 8-byte channel? By the way, convert 16 bytes per channel images to 8 byte per channel images selected by default, and ZIP is the only compression method available if the convert 16 bytes option is unselected, by the way. If your document's compatibility setting is Acrobat 5 PDF 1.4 or earlier, and the convert 16 bytes options is unavailable, and images are automatically converted to 8 bytes per channel. And what about color management and PDFX options for Adobe PDF? What about color management and PDFX options for Adobe PDF? By the way, you can set the following options in the output section of the Adobe PDF options dialog box. And interactions between output options change depending on whether color management is on or off and which PDF standard is selected. We have many options here now. The first option, color conversion. Color conversion is meaning that specifies how to represent color information in the Adobe PDF file. And when you convert color objects to RGB or CMYK, also select the destination profile from the pop-up menu, and all spot color information is preserved during color conversion, and only the process color equivalents converted to the designate color space. And so what about non-conversion? Non-conversion is meaning that preserves color data as is. And what about convert to destination? Convert to destination is meaning that converts all colors to the profile selected for destination, and whether the profile is included or not is determined by the profile inclusion policy. And what about destination? Destination is meaning that describes the gamut of the final RGB or CMYK output device, such as your monitor or a swap standard. Using this profile, by the way, Photoshop converts the document's color information defined by the source profile in the working spaces section of the color setting dialog box to the color space of the target output device. So what about profile inclusion policy? Profile inclusion policy is meaning that determines whether a color profile is included in the file. And what about output and intent profile name? Output intent profile name is meaning specifies the characterized printing condition for the document. An output and intent profile is required for creating PDFX compliant files. This menu, by the way, is available only if a PDFX standard or preset is selected in the Adobe PDF options dialog box. So what about output condition? Output condition is something that describes the intended printing condition. This entry, by the way, can be useful for the intended receivers of the PDF document. And what about output condition identifier? Output condition identifier is meaning a pointer to more information on the intended printing condition. This identifier, by the way, is automatically entered for printing conditions that are included in the ICC registry. So what about registry name? Registry name is meaning that indicates the web address for more information on the registry, and the URL is automatically entered for ICC registry names. And how to add security to PDF files. How to add security to PDF files. By the way, when saving as PDF, you can add password protection and security restrictions limiting not only who can open the file, but also who can copy or extract contents, print the document, and more. And by the way, a PDF file can require passwords to open a document and document open password, and to change security setting permissions password. If you set any security restrictions in your file, you should set both passwords, by the way, otherwise anyone who opens the file could remove the restrictions if a file is opened with a permissions password, and the security restrictions are temporarily disabled. And the RC4 method of security from RSA Corporation is used to password protect PDF files, by the way. Depending on the compatibility setting in the general category, the encryption level will be high or low. And be careful here please now. Adobe PDF, by the way, presets don't support passwords and security setting if you select password and security setting in the export Adobe PDF dialog box. And then click save preset, and passwords and security setting won't be preserved, by the way. And how to save an Adobe PDF preset? How to save an Adobe PDF preset? Also, the default PDF presets, by the way, are based on best practices, and you may discover that your workflow requires specialized PDF settings that aren't available using any of the built-in presets. In this case, you can create and save your own custom presets, by the way, for use in Photoshop or any product in the Adobe Creative Cloud. And in Photoshop, you can save actually the preset using the Adobe PDF presets command or clicking the Save Preset button in the Save Adobe PDF dialog box. And Adobe PDF presets are saved, by the way, as files with a job options extension. This is useful, by the way, for example, if you want your vendor or printer to send you a job option file with the Adobe PDF presets that work best with their workflow. We have steps. Step number 1. You should choose edit firstly. then choose Adobe PDF presets. And if you are saving a Photoshop PDF document, click the Save Preset button in the Save Adobe PDF dialog box after you specify your PDF setting. Skip step 2 and step 3. Step number 2. If you choose the Adobe PDF presets command, do one of the following in the Adobe PDF presets dialog box. To create a new preset, click the New button in the Adobe PDF presets dialog box. In the New PDF preset dialog box, type a name for the preset in the preset text box. And after that, to edit an existing custom preset, you should select the preset and then click Edit. And you can't edit the default presets, by the way. Step number 3. Set the PDF options. And step number 4. Save your preset by doing one of the following. In the new PDF preset or the Edit PDF preset dialog box, you should click OK, and the new preset appears in the Adobe PDF presets list, by the way, and then click Done when you finish creating presets. And in the Save dialog box, type a name for the preset in the file name text box, and then click Save. And Adobe PDF, by the way, presets are stored in the following folders. If you use Windows Vista, users, then username, then the application data, then roaming, then Adobe PDF setting. And if you use Windows XP, documents and setting, and username, and application data, and Adobe PDF. If you use macOS, users, and username, and the library, and application support, and Adobe PDF setting. By the way, all the Adobe PDF presets you save in these locations are available in your other Adobe applications, by the way. Note here and be careful please here now. To save the PDF preset in a location other than the default, you should click the Save As button in the Adobe PDF preset dialog box and browse to the destination. Or in the Save dialog box, browse to the destination and then click Save. How to load and edit or delete Adobe PDF presets. How to load or edit or delete Adobe PDF presets. By the way, Adobe PDF presets creation settings are available in Photoshop and other Adobe products from the Adobe PDF presets dialog box, and you can to save and load and edit or delete Adobe PDF presets. And you can to choose Edit firstly, then select Adobe PDF presets and do any of the following. To save setting as a new preset, you should click the New button firstly, then specify setting in the New PDF preset dialog box, and then click OK. And after that, to edit an Adobe PDF preset, you should select the preset in the preset window, then click the Edit button, and then change setting in the Edit PDF preset dialog box. Note and be careful please here now. Also, you can't edit the Adobe PDF presets that were installed with Photoshop, and the names of presets installed with Photoshop are enclosed in square brackets. And you can select one of them and click the New button, by the way, in the New PDF preset dialog box, and you can modify the setting and save them as a new preset. And to delete an Adobe PDF preset, you should select the preset in the preset window and then click the Delete button, and you can delete, by the way, the Adobe PDF presets that were installed with Photoshop. And to load an Adobe PDF preset, you should click the Load button firstly, then select the preset file, and then click the Load button, and then the preset is added to the presets window. And by the way, when you browse for an Adobe PDF preset to load, only files with the job options extension are visible in the Load dialog box. And to close the PDF options preset dialog box, you should click the Done button. And to save the preset in a location other than the default, you should click the Save As firstly button, then give the preset a new name if necessary, then browse to the destination and then click Save. Thank you so much.